No doubt. Over to Liverpool, Trent Alexander-Arnold is actually interested in purchasing Nance for around £84 million. How does this work for an active player to purchase another club that's also in the top five leagues?
Well, I did read that story, and they came out and denied it that they're really interested in just being the sole owners. They could be part of a syndicate. Um, and you're right. That set me thinking. I don't think there are any rules around players buying clubs. Certainly about co-own, people owning more than one club, and so he would be classed as an owner. But then again, how does that affect him if he was to play against them? It's a fascinating issue, and I don't believe there is anything in the rule books about that, and it will need to be addressed quickly if that's the case. Look, I've always been a big fan of players putting their money back into the game. I'd even tried to try and lobby the Internal Revenue Service here, the HMRC, the tax authorities, to see if there was a way that they could try and get the agents who are making big money and some of the players making big money to get tax breaks if they put it back into football, and try and keep that money from going outside of the game to keep it in the game. So I'm a big fan of trying to do that. But there is definitely an issue. I mean, if Trent Alexander-Arnold and Liverpool drew Nantes in the European games, how would that work out? I mean, you're absolutely right. It creates a huge, it's an interesting conflict, and not one that I think has been envisioned as such yet. There's no doubt he would be, just a part owner, I think, and not having control, but it does raise questions, and that's something that's got to be addressed. And I haven't quite got the answer yet.
For sure, and I guess we haven't really ever seen anything like this before, right? I mean, I think we kind of seen it in the MLS. I think Beckham had a partial ownership of the Galaxy when he went over there. I think there's rumors that Messi owns Inter Miami, but actually owning a different club we've never seen before.
Correct. I mean, those are the two things that sprang to mind with me, and I don't know if there's been any players have invested in their blind trusts. I know that Neymar had discussions about potential ownerships of some clubs back in Brazil. Uh, I don't know what Messi's situation is right now, but I think the Beckham situation is the example that happened only when he stopped playing. And you'd hope that players wouldn't be getting involved while they're still playing, because it just raises too many questions, and I think that would have to be outlawed in some way. Now, under the existing rules, I suppose there is a conflict of interest situation there that could be brought in, and I'm sure would be brought in, but that could still. It's not clear. It's about the only thing I can see that could reflect on this. So interesting discussion, and let's hope though there's more players wanting to get involved in the game and putting their money back into the game. I'm a big fan, as I said, and let's hope that carries on.
And if I'm hearing you correctly, there basically are no rules to prevent this from potentially being a multi-club model, for lack of a better term, without breaking any rules.
Well, that's at the moment. I've got to look at the conflict of interest rules, which are in the owners and directors test. But if they were in there for a small percentage, then they may not trigger that situation. So it is difficult to see how that's governed at the moment. It's never been addressed before, but then again, players' wages have never been at the level they're at right now. And so it's something that the authorities will have to think about. And I'm sure there's been discussions already, and I'm interested to see how they comment on this sort of issue.